Never in a million years. Never. Oh, never. I fall to pieces. No, no, no. I don't know. Would you guys? I never would have thought that people who are YouTubers would actually be exploited in such a way. But you know, the thing, I'm just sitting here watching Loretta Lynn. I'm watching the movie by Loretta Lynn, Coal Miner's Daughter. And here, they were kind of poking fun at Doolittle for actually, when his wife was singing on the Grand Ole Opry, they said, "What's your job?" And he, just listening to her on the radio, is that what you're calling her your job? And they were poking fun at him in that way. And he's like, "Oh, I do plenty to help her out." And I'm just thinking, the thing I'm thinking about, like with most YouTubers, is, unless you have a husband and wife team that can actually work really well together and they have an understanding of how things work well together in creating some kind of business or something like that, it's just not going to work. Because, I mean, too many times you have the husband, the partner, who just sees dollar signs. And it's like, as time passes, the more I realized I became that person. I became the wife of a husband who was just exploiting myself as a YouTuber. That's what he was doing. He was exploiting me. That was a narcissist side of a husband. The narcissist side of a husband. Exploiting myself as a YouTuber for his own monetary gain. That's what was taking place. That's what was going on. I don't see it any other way at all. It's like right now, if I was ever to be able to make a six hello, the best girl. If I was ever to be able to make my YouTube channel successful again, I think, and I do it. I mean, I did it by myself the first time, but right now it's not working for anyone. But say that I was able to do it again, I would have a hard time being involved with anybody for the reason of the exploitation. Oh, I'm hanging in here. Yeah, for the whole reason of the exploitation, I would have a very, very, very hard time getting involved with anybody at all, because they see dollar signs. And my second husband, that's what he was doing. He started seeing dollar signs, placing a price on me. And I kind of forgot about Loretta Lynn, and that show popped up today. And the way they were doing things, hello, Franco, you are a wonderful, beautiful, and cute human being. Never change. What? Oh, thank you so much. You guys are too kind. Even though um, yeah, you're kind for saying that. I'm gonna leave it. Thank you, thank you for saying that. Sometimes I have a hard time taking kindness right now. And it's because of the bad relationship that I had. It's not anything that you guys do. It's just because of the bad relationship. And, women who have been in bad relationships, even, maybe even men too, we both think that we deserve to be treated poorly. Um, were you from, you want to know what country? I live in the United States of America. I will say that much. I'm in the United States of America. And I'm not moving to a different country. I'm not going to a different country at all. I don't plan on that. I don't plan on getting involved with any foreign men or anything like that. That's not my plan. Um, I'm not getting married to anybody. Um, so which state? um, it's almost the next day here. So it's the next day. What day is today? Today, I believe, is Wednesday. It's almost Thursday here soon, I believe. Today is, it's going to be the 21st here soon. You're from Lima, Peru. That's nice. Peru was, I thought there was places in Brazil at one time. I thought I would like to travel to Brazil. And actually, I believe I did travel to South America at one point. Close to South America when I was in a happier part of my relationship. We came close. I don't know if Aruba counts. You do medical billing. Oh, China Remix. You do medical billing in the United States or in another country? Medical billing. Um, yeah, I don't have any medical. And so, I mean, I find that, it's like that's nice that people do medical billing as a job. I always thought it would be kind of fun to do medical. I know there's people who go to college for medical terminology. Can I have, what number are you? I'm not anybody famous. I don't know why you need my number. I'm not anybody famous or anything like that. Well, I've never been famous. Let's put it that way. I've, with the exception of something that is not so great to be famous for, that somebody took something out of context because I was just trying to be a teacher, that's all. Um, and they did some things that are just really horrific. And I got called FBI collateral damage. I mean, how do you guys like that? I was collateral damage by my own country. What kind of crap is that? So I mean, it's like, is the FBI supposed to destroy my career as a YouTuber? Apparently so. Um, oh, you want to be, um, I, I don't do that stuff. I don't do the, whatever it is you guys are talking about. I don't do that stuff because you guys are doing the network thing or whatever. And I just don't I think you guys are paid to do that. Someone is paying you to do that and I'm not participating in that. I think that if someone is interested in me, they're interested in me without someone paying them to be interested in me. And so I think you guys should stop doing that. For the why do you want to, why do you want someone watching you who's paid just to be your subscriber? And then they don't even watch your video. So you have dead subscribers is what you have. You guys don't understand that yet? Okay, if you pay someone to be a subscriber, then that's incentive. That's what we've been talking about. If you're paid to watch someone, then you're incentivizing. You're part of the problem in America with like with the voting interference, because then you're paid to be incentivized to watch people's videos about voting. You're part of the problem. And that's the thing that I don't like, and that's what we're talking about with the Russian troll farms and all the people who are paid and incentivized to watch videos. And someone is, whoever's paying you guys down in Brazil and stuff like that, it's like, um, I don't know who's paying you to do it and what, unless it's just out of the big networks. I mean, because I don't know what it does. Then you end up with a bunch of dead subscribers, and then what? Legacy media is dead. I'm going to tell you the guys that right now. Well, then you write in English, but you're saying you don't understand. Everybody's talking about all the foreign trolls and Russian hackers. Now, I mean, trolling is one thing. Trolling is something that people just do just because for various reasons. And there's, I'd say there's millions of trolls. There's people who are not trolls. There's people who are not even trolls who get called trolls every day. And so that's just become a common thing that people have to get used to. But when you're paid, when someone pays you to watch someone else's video, that is false engagement. Where are you? Don't you do video life on YouTube? What do you mean video life? Schlep situation. Well, yeah, I know what a schlep and a shill is. They're kind of the same thing. They're a bunch of nincompoops who are, I mean, I've heard of what a schlep is. I don't know what the definition is. I mean, but I do know that skibbity got put into the dictionary the other day. And so let me get back to what I was talking about, though, the interference. When you pay people to watch videos, that becomes interference. I mean, that just plain becomes interference with artificial inflation. And it's like, so you're paying people? No, like the YouTuber. I don't know who Schlep. There's a YouTuber named Schlep. I never heard of them. You guys are promoting people I've never heard of. I don't know why you're promoting them to me, because it's probably not someone I'm going to watch. You know. Okay, well, I don't know how you're explaining it. You guys always say the same thing. You do the same thing, and it's just a bunch of nonsense, and it really defeats the purpose of YouTube. That's what I think. Because all you do is have just a bunch of people messing up dialogue and, creating things that just don't make any sense. When do you do YouTube video life? I want to join your YouTube video life all the time. I don't know what you mean, YouTube video life. I don't know what you mean by that. What do you mean, YouTube video life? I've never heard of that. I don't know what a YouTube video life is. Is that like what they do when they vlog or something like that? And, a lot of people don't like vlogging anymore. Oh, are you talking about the live stream? I see, most of the time nobody ever wants to join, so I don't do the two people thing. I can create a link. I can do that. But, most of the time nobody ever wants to come on the live, so I don't actually have a link. And then I've restarted my stream before. It's a Roblox creator that is protecting kids on Roblox from predators, and Roblox banned him for being dangerous. Oh, is that, and no. Oh, that's who Schlep is. I've never heard of him before, and I don't keep up on any of that stuff. I don't watch TV anymore or anything like that. So I have really not much idea what's going on. The only thing that comes up every once in a while is Jeffrey Epstein, and I find him very boring because I don't know. I never knew the man, and people, the only thing that comes out of that is just legacy media talking about him over and over again, and someone, a very few amount of people deciding, oh, well, something is going on. They're trying to create a story out of nothing. And, so now there's just a bunch of people on YouTube creating a bunch of stories. They're protecting him for what? Oh, so he's a predator of some sort? Well, what did he do to the kids exactly? I mean, is he someone who has them watching naughty movies or something like that? Or I'm not sure. I mean, because I know there is a guy, I'm not going to say who he is because I don't want to promote him. And he just has all kinds of kids that he runs through his channel. And he uses the rage baiting and he uses moderation to kick the kids off. And then they come back. And so he uses that. Oh, he was, was he protecting the kids from? Um, I have a lot of videos uploaded to you've never watched my channel before? I have a lot of videos uploaded to my channel. Absolutely. I've got over 3,000. I've got over 3,000 videos on my channel. Predators. I think think he's a bot. Oh, you think Schlepp is a bot? I've seen a lot of them lately. They're actually videos. They're video content creators. I think they're robots, though. I think there's a lot of human-looking robot. I think there's a lot of human-looking robot content creators because there's something about them that doesn't look right. And, so, but that's the problem, with, that YouTubers now have to look out for because they're in the same category as celebrities who've been taken advantage of. And so when I was watching, I don't know who that is. I have no idea who that is, and I'm not going to watch them. They sound like somebody I'm not interested in. And so anyway, I was watching Loretta Lynn, and Loretta Lynn was singing at the Grand Ole Opry. And she married her husband when she was 14 years old, and he was old as hell. He was like 35, I think. He was really, really old. And I was thinking, my goodness, back in that day, um, you know, nobody said anything about Loretta Lynn and her husband Doolittle being married and when she was 14 years old. But now all they talk about now is the men from the Middle East who do that. And nobody ever said a gall darn thing about Loretta Lynn being married when she was 14 years old. Now, granted, she was the brains of the operation. Her husband did encourage her to go singing at the radio stations. And they portrayed him being the one to take her picture, and then they would put up a backdrop, which was a quilt from the bed, and hang it on the wall. They would hang it on the wall, and then they would send her. He must have had a machine or something to make the 45 records to send it to the radio station. But she's the one who's doing all the work. And then, lo and behold, he lets the fame go to his head. He lets her fame go to his head. And she's the one who's famous doing all the work. I don't think she's bringing in a whole lot of money at that point. I don't know if she's making money, but eventually she must. Because at the age of, well, she's got 4 kids by then, so she must have been over 18. So in 14, yeah, she could have had 4 kids by the time she was 18. Back in Appalachia and hillbilly honky tonk town and area and stuff like that. That seems about normal for the United States, across the whole country, not just the South, but every part of the country. It's a dirty little secret that they were all doing that stuff. But I thought it was kind of funny because Dew handed her a book because on their wedding night she didn't want him doing anything to her, and which I thought that was funny. I kind of forgot about that part in the movie, but I don't think, yeah, 4 kids. Exactly, 4 kids. I don't think that he got married to her thinking that he could turn her into a movie star. I really don't. I think that dude did love her, even though they'd only dated for a month. But he just decided he wanted to have a wife, and he just decided that it was going to be Loretta Lynn, even though she was only 14 years old. And back then, in the early 1930s and 1920s and stuff like that, that stuff was normal. Yeah, she would have been 1940s, I think, probably, because I think she's passed away. I think the both of them have passed away by now. Yeah, she had 4 kids before the age of, I'd say, before the age of 19 and younger. She had 4 kids, yeah. And he had her in the family way right away after they got married. And she was only 14 years old and having her first baby. And she was still a child her own self. And, so, I mean, it's like, and that's all there was. There's, not much for birth control. And, that's what they had women doing here in the United States. And it's like, women don't want to do that stuff anymore. Women want to have a better life. Women don't want to be tied down with no kids. And the future women that's not going to happen. So they're having less babies right now. And these men, old-fashioned men, are delusional. They are, you're going to have a good night and a day. Okay, you have a good night and a day. So these men, they're delusional. If they think that women just want to be tied and strapped down with kids, especially with inflation, even the younger generation is understanding what inflation is. When they can't survive, um, I believe that they're making choices to not bring kids into the world because of the fact that it's too expensive. And so, so some of these leaders are off their rockers because, the president, actually, Trump, actually had said at one point, he said he wanted to incentivize um, families who took care of elderly people as though we're children, as though we're so. But yet, the president can live by himself, but he thinks that everybody else wants to have to live with their family. So he's got plenty of money to live by himself, yet he thinks that old people want to live with their kids and their family, even though they don't have enough room. I mean, the president needs to go. They took him on. They took him on a tour of jails when he was running for president. And he said the jails were filthy and disgusting. They really need to take him on a tour through dilapidated housing and through HUD housing. That's what I think they should do. Why would Why would who become a robot? Why would who become a robot? Who are you talking about? Who has become a robot? Oh, why would you become a robot? I have no idea. Why would you become a robot? I think you would have more insight to that than I would. Why would you become a robot? Donald Trump is good. He's fat and he smokes weed. Yeah, you would have more insight to that. You know that Donald Trump smokes weed. Maybe he does. Donald smokes. I didn't know that Donald Trump smokes. That's something new that I just learned today, if that's true. Because I know that they said Barack Obama smoked cigarettes and he hid it from the public for a long time until someone finally released it to the public that he smoked like a pack of cigarettes a day. He just hid it from the public. Did you guys know that Barack Obama smoked cigarettes? I bet a lot of people still to this day probably don't know that. So I wouldn't be a bit surprised that Donald Trump smokes cigarettes, and he's lied about it. I know he said he didn't drink liquor either, and I bet he drinks liquor. I just find it so hard to believe that a rich guy like Donald Trump um, never drank any liquor behind the sessions. Yeah. Oh, yeah, behind the scenes. Of course. Of course, yeah. That's they hide it for I mean, and how they can hide it from the public and it not come out. And the thing with Obama, my gosh, it was like I think it was 2 or 3 years into his presidency, and then they were putting out someone was putting on the internet that Obama smoked, and then they started he admitted, he said that I don't know who it was. They said someone they kept asking him if he quit smoking, and he said that he had. That's what he said. He told them he had. So it sounded like he was smoking, and then he quit. I have to wonder if he's taken up smoking again now that he's not president anymore. But I never knew that he smoked. He is fat and he smokes weed. Well, I'm sure you guys have more insight to that than I do because I'm not there to see what's going on. That's why those of us on YouTube, we just have really nothing to go on because why would I want to talk about something? Why would I? That's what I'm asking. And they keep pushing these narratives because YouTube is based off of interest based. And oh, this is zombie Psycho Ninja. And so the thing that I've always been saying is that why would I want to talk about what TV talks about or what the mainstream media people talk about? Because it's like then I'm just following along talking about something that's their narrative. It does nothing for me. Their narrative does nothing for me except boost their presence. And um and it's like and the White House is actually um, the White House information that comes out. That's basically a monopoly. And so the thing I've seen is that then legacy news. That's all they talk about is what comes out of the White House. And it's like, why do I want to do that? I really don't, because then I'm just repeating the same thing. And it's like that's boring. That's stinking boring. And pudding is a good man. He's your pudding. You're putting. Oh, putting. Are you talking about bladder? Are you talking about bladder putting? Vladimir putting? Vladimir putting. Bladder leakage putting. Is that who you're talking about? Bladder leakage putting? I don't know Vladimir Pudding, and I don't want to know him. He might be a good man. I don't want to know him. I don't care about him. Um, and so, I know that sounds cold and it sounds mean, but I don't care because it's like none of them do anything for me. And YouTube is different. YouTube is absolutely way different from legacy media TV. TV is, legacy media TV, their big mistake that they started doing, they started functioning like the internet. That's their problem. They started functioning like the internet. So the thing is they did have some things that they could influence, and one of the biggest was elections that they did. So sometimes I think they were lying about it coming out of, well, I'm not going to say they were lying about Russian troll farms. I mean, or troll farms from China or wherever. I think there's been troll farms in every continent around the world. in a lot of countries around the world, like Brazil and Portugal, Brazil especially, South America especially. I think there's a lot of troll farms. Indonesia, the Indonesian islands in that area, I think there's a lot of troll farms. Oh, Cabbage Patch Kids. Oh, copyrights. Yeah, well, that's the whole thing with copyrights. Okay. Well, let's use this scenario. So, for example, copyrights. If someone mirrors a bunch of content from China and puts it on YouTube, what are the people from China going to do? It's just like, I mean, right now there is copyright of my original YouTube channel on YouTube, and I don't have the means to even take it down, because I don't have my original YouTube channel anymore. And now the thing I've asked is, I've written to YouTube and asked them, I heard that they save stuff for years and years and years. And, so I wasn't thinking at the time that I deleted. I was thinking and I wasn't, but I was just mad at that time. So I deleted my YouTube channel. My original YouTube channel, and I kind of wish that I would have kept it. In hindsight, I kind of wish I would have kept it, but I didn't. I wanted to separate. I didn't want my ex-husband looking me up, and I really don't, you know. But the thing is, it's like, well, I wasn't doing things. Well, I was thinking in the future, maybe I want to do things and I identify myself in the future again. And, I look at what people are doing right now. They're doing things 1,000 times worse than what I was actually accused of. And it's like, isn't that some bullshit fucking double standard right there of censorship? Someone started that against YouTube, some censorship against YouTube. And so, yeah, I kind of wished I would have kept my original YouTube channel. It would be kind of cool though if they had a mirror site and they saved it for legacy purposes and reasons, but I don't know. I think someone said that it's probably gone, or maybe that was just someone or some random person saying something that they don't know anything about, because that's what I find most of the time, is random people who say things they don't know anything about. And YouTube has put stuff out that says, what they say is to don't trust anything that anyone is saying on YouTube right now, because there's so much misinformation and lies that people are putting out. They're saying to not trust anyone, because there's a lot of deceptive practices and deceptive people on YouTube right now. Old YouTube's out because what is old YouTube are still here. Yeah, the old YouTube. Well, it's easy to say old YouTube is out, but yet the legacy old YouTubers are still here. They're still here. I mean, you can change the platform. Okay, this is what I see going on. The only thing that's happening is they're changing. YouTube still functions the same as it did from the beginning. There's nothing different about YouTube. They've made improvements. They've made a lot of improvements related to the software, things like that. I think they've put in more data centers, so that more people can use YouTube. That's what I see. Now, YouTube they don't have any control related to the platform, which is the Wi-Fi signals. The Wi-Fi signals are the problem. Wi-Fi signals are causing the buffering. Everybody said, cut the cord, cut the cord. Well, the internet actually works better when you plug it into the wall. You get a better signal than you do with Wi-Fi, instead of bogging everything down. And that's what makes your computer hot too. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. But yes, the old YouTubers are still here. They're the same people. And so um, so, that's the same thing in life when people talk about, oh, we want something new. We want something new with politics. We want this new. We want change, change, change. We want things to change. It's like, what do you want to, you know what? If you want something to change, how about inflation? Stop raising prices. Don't let the private sector price gouge. Um, because these companies are not going to self-govern their self. They lie. They say they're going to self-govern their self, but they don't. They're just raising prices higher because they can. And, so, yes, it's a fact. The old YouTube, I mean, we can delete our channels over and over and over again. And it's going to be the same people who are starting new channels and know how it works. I mean, if you know how it works, you know how it works. I mean, Google's search engine, it's not a TV station. I mean, you can call it a TV station if you want to, but Google is a search engine. And why would you want your YouTube channel to be anything other than similar to a search engine? So you want to maybe do some elements of things that are similar to what a search engine does. And where you take it, it you know, um, but it is frustrating when you make videos and then they just don't show up. They don't show up and get, take off by the algorithm. So then that leads me to believe that the legacy media people are they're using hiring the people to watch their videos. And, so it's like, I don't have the money to do that. Why would I want to do that? That's not authentic views. That's what YouTube is always fighting against all the time, is people who are not getting authentic views. Which is, and then they just hire all those people from foreign countries to watch their videos. And, well, nobody can compete with that. And then they got kids doing it too. PewDiePie, Jack films, Jack, but what happened to YouTubers that go bad like Hollywood? What do you mean? I don't know who Jack Films is. I know who PewDiePie is. What do you mean YouTubers that go bad like Hollywood? I mean, YouTubers just kind of disappear. Even the ones that were good, and you have YouTubers who are accused of being bad that didn't do bad things. It's just someone made an accusation because they were being shitty. They were just being fucking shitty. And so, nobody keeps track of YouTubers at all. Nobody cares about YouTubers. So there's not really, if you go to Wikipedia, you know what you find there? You find celebrities. There's a few people who were put into Wikipedia, and I had, as a YouTuber, when I was there at the beginning, for a long time, I did kind of have a title related to something inside of the United States for what I was doing, because I was the leader in it for a while, but I didn't anticipate. I was a leader in the United States. There was foreign people who always had more subscribers than what I had. I don't know how they pulled that off, but they always did. They always had more subscribers than I did. Millions. And so I don't know how they did that. There was always other people who came along and had more. And that was the thing I always asked the question. It's like, well, how is it these other people, they end up with more, and I'm the one who's supposed to suffer with less? And, so Then they become exclusive. They become a monopoly, and it's like, well, they want to favor their own people instead of doing something where everybody can kind of function together. They turn it into a competition. When they turn it into a competition, it really does take all the fun out of it. It doesn't make it a very inviting place. You know, if someone just feels like they have to be the leader all the time or the go-to person, you know, it's like, well, okay, when it's like that, then that means, okay, that one person thinks they have all the answers. Then they're making all the money, they're earning all the revenue. And well, what about everybody else, you know? And so PewDiePie, I don't know who Jack Films is. I think I've heard of that person before. I've heard of Jacksepticeye. Let me see who Jack Films is. Um, let's see if I can find it. Jack Films. Let me put this down. Oh, that guy. Yeah, is that another Disney person? It just looks like another Disney person. It's like I'm not interested in that stuff. You know, it's just some other snotty ass, bratty ass kid out of Disney, and I don't give a flying fuck about Disney. I really don't. I mean, then it's just, you know, basically what it is, all it is Disney on YouTube. Then YouTube has become Disney. So, I mean, maybe YouTube just needs to change its name to Disney. Is that what it is? You know, I mean, yeah, they've been attacked for because of the DEI direction they went down. And it's, oh, we accept this and we accept that. And it's like, yeah, but you're influencing something the rest of us don't want to participate in. I don't want to participate in all that gay queer shit. You know, and why should I be censored for saying that? Because I've been censored for several years for when I say that I don't want to participate in that lesbian and gay bullshit. I have a choice to say that. If people are mad at me, go fuck yourself. You go fuck yourself. I don't want to hear about it. I'm not interested in it. And I don't have to be. You know, and so people who are chastising me for saying I'm not interested in that gay bullshit, you go be gay. You guys go be gay by yourself. Yeah. Oh, who was the lady who said it earlier? She was a comedian, and she said that she said gay people can go to work and just not say anything that they're gay. I mean, they have a choice to say that they are, but she said they don't have to. They can stay in the closet their whole life. But she said trans people actually said one day they're one gender, the next day they go to work and they're putting on a dress. So people are going to know. So that YouTube, when I had Chris at the house, is good. I don't know. What are you talking about, Chris? A crisis? You had a crisis? At this house is so that YouTube, when it had Chris at his house, I don't know what you're talking about. Chris at what house? I have no idea what you're talking about. Is it that time? That time for what? Time for what? I don't know what you're talking about. Um, Chris at the YouTuber's house? I don't know what you're talking about, Chris. At what YouTuber's house? I have no idea what you're talking about. Like Chris Kringle? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know what you're talking about, a YouTuber's house. I don't know what YouTuber's house you're talking about. I have no idea what you're referencing. What are you talking about? Yeah, nobody knows what you're talking about. Clearly you guys just don't want to have a conversation, and you just don't want to do anything intelligible. That's all I hear, is you don't want to do anything intelligible. You don't want to have a conversation. You just want to spout out a bunch of garbage. I mean, at one time we could somewhat have conversations, but, or have somewhat of that appearance of conversation. Well, why is it that ChatGPT can have a conversation and you guys can't? I mean, ChatGPT can have a conversation and the people in YouTube chat can't have a conversation. I don't know about Donald Trump smoking weed. It doesn't surprise me that there's probably a video about that somewhere, I would imagine. It doesn't surprise me that someone has made that. And you know what's I find really interesting and funny is the fact that nobody gets upset. Donald doesn't even get upset, So all this stuff has been put out on the media and the news that Donald is going after and suing a whole bunch of people for stuff they put negative against him. But yet I see like tens of thousands of videos on YouTube that's nothing but negative against Donald. Oh, I know why. They explained it today. I think it was recently. They said that they keep them isolated and they don't tell them. AI intelligence. AI intelligence is not very intelligent now, is it? So they were talking about even the people in Washington, D.C. They said they keep them isolated and they don't tell them a lot of things that's going on. And they especially are not telling Donald things that's going on in the outside world. They're not telling Donald that people don't like him. They're keeping him isolated from that for some reason. And I wonder if he would have a further meltdown if he found out that people actually don't like him. And everything I hear, every step of the way, people are saying they don't like him. Even the Republicans. Bob is sleepy. My outside cats both named Bob. You have two cats named Bob. Bob and Bob. Are you talking about heavy machinery bobcats, like the huge cranes? It sounds like that's what you're talking about, is heavy machinery bobcats that are outside. Kind of like the cat, the yellow cat heavy machineries. I know some of them are. Well, did you ever watch Bobcat Goldthwait? I'm sure some of you must have watched Bobcat Goldthwait. Bobcat Goldthwait, was that his name? Thwait or Gold? I don't even remember. Goldthwait. I guess that sounds funny. My outside cats are both named Bob. Cover your eyes. Cover my eyes with a outside bobcat. Why do you have to cover? Oh, because you're shoveling a bunch of dirt. Is that why? Or you might get dirt in your eyes. Yeah, we all know that all these guys on YouTube have made the name Jack famous. And you know why they do that? I'll tell you why they do that. They make the name Jack famous because Jack is a very famous name. Jack-o'-lantern as in pumpkin. It's just me. My favorite film is Scott Pilgrim. I have no idea what Scott Pilgrim is. Never heard of it. I don't know who you are. Well, I did know a Chris at one time. Actually, I've known a lot of Chris's. I used to date a boy in high school named Chris. Um, but, you know what he did to me? He decided to date my friend, Dragon Ball Z. So he was dating my friend, and it's like, that's kind of not fun when you find out that the guy that you've been dating decides to date someone who's your friend, who was supposed to be your friend. So, but we were young, so it didn't matter. I really didn't like him that well. I think we broke up for a while. But he was just, I don't know what I liked him, but it wasn't that I liked him that well. I guess maybe I wasn't feeling him that well my own self. Now, the one that I really liked was when I was a senior in high school, I had a boyfriend. Now, I liked him a lot. I really liked him a lot. He kind of broke my heart. And, yeah, he really did. But, I guess I had the memories from high school, and that was it. You like a dog? Alrighty, you like a dog. Alrighty. Well, I've been looking I missed something. Oh, there was a thing about ChatGPT I wanted to see today that was related to, I believe it was related to Harvard. And so I completely missed. I'm not getting scheduled notifications. Even YouTube is not working for scheduled videos either. I don't know if any of you know that. It's like the scheduled videos aren't working now either. They were, but it seems like they've stopped for some reason. And so, I mean, the videos go out, but I'm just not getting, I used to get a notification even for my own, but I'm not seeing them working really well. So, I don't know, I guess they've shut everything off maybe? Or that's what it seems like. It seems like that it's just been shut off and they're not using, a lot of things aren't working like they used to work. But what I see right now, though, is YouTube picking up on things that I wrote from my original channel, which is kind of strange. In relationship to, things that I had said about my son, because my son used to like Dragon Ball Z. That was kind of a fun memory that I had, that was something he really liked. You show me your house, cover your eyes, bedtime. Oh, it, is it really you? No, it can't be. That can't be. But you said enough to make me think that it could be. But um I had fun with him. I'll tell you that much right now. He and I were having fun together. But I don't know. I think I was still on too much. Gosh, that's been over 2 years ago now. That's crazy. 2 years since I've seen him. Or maybe a year and a half. He reminded me of my shrink. And speaking of my shrink, I still had like 6 sessions left with him when COVID came about, and he told me it was going to take him a long, long time to make his report related to my state of mind. He said it was going to take him a long, long time to write up his report. And I don't even know how he would get in contact with me right now, because I'm not like where I was at during COVID. And so there's no way he could even get a hold of me. I wouldn't be surprised if there's still mail going there. Now, he never sent me anything in the mail that I know of. I don't think he sent me anything in the mail. But he would have no way to get a hold of me. And so if he decided to try to get in contact with me and say that he wanted to pick the therapy sessions back up again or something, he wouldn't know how to get a hold of me. And so I'd only gone to 3 sessions, and then COVID happened. So I just wanted somebody to talk to. That's all I wanted, was someone to talk to. A real conversation, not all this nonsense we got going on right now. This has got to be AI picking that up. AI must have overheard or something. You know I've got a different phone number now, don't you? You know that? Are you still here? I wonder if you're still here. I've got a different phone number. I don't have the same phone number. So if you're getting responses from a phone number, that's not me. Because I got too much spam. I got too much spam. Are you still here, zombie? Zombie Psycho Ninja? I know you retracted all your messages. I do that too sometimes. Actually, I do that in the especially in the live streams. Sometimes when, yeah, I do that too. And people were doing that to me on my original channel too, which I thought was kind of funny. If they started retracting their messages, I'm like, don't retract your messages. Why are you guys retracting your messages? Yeah. Let me see here if I can. Let's see. Did I miss any? Nope. I didn't miss any. Um, that's crazy though. If that's AI picking that stuff up, that is. And I know it picks up some things because it listens to people. I know AI is doing that. And it listens to people's phones, and so then it hears what we say indirectly. And I've always wondered that that's probably what it's doing. And it just repeats words. Oh, what time? Oh, it's about 12:30, isn't it? Yeah, I probably need to shut this off. All right. And go to bed. That's what I need to do. My favorite film is Scott Pilgrim. Scott Pilgrim. You guys, really, you guys should write that on my other videos. I mean, unless you can only do live streams. You guys should tell me this on on my other videos, and then I would know what. Then I would be able to look at it and remember what you're talking about, and maybe make some kind of content surrounding some of that stuff. Otherwise, I'm just not going to remember everything. Um, you know, I mean, you can leave comments on my short videos, and then they get, and then I'll get a notice that you left a comment on my short video, and then I can see what you wrote. Unless you guys don't have the means to be able to do that.